Hello, everyone, and welcome to possibly the first video for December. I apologize that I haven't posted for at least 2 months. As you may know, I had surgery on my left foot. I was going to do some pre-filming, but I wasn't happy with how things were turning out, and I was putting a lot of pressure on myself, so it just did not happen. Yeah, I've deleted all those videos. They were not good. I hoped to do like a TBR video, like a TBR game video for December, but I decided not to. As you can see, I do have something different. It's still a catwalk TBR. I will be playing that starting in January. So it's still similar, except it's up there. It is a little bit different, but I'll go into that more when I actually film a TBR video. So, slight changes, and this is more of how I originally wanted it. I felt like I was kind of rushing myself to get something out the first time. So, anyway, couple of changes. One is that when it comes to uploading videos on my channel, I was trying so hard, one, to film what I thought everyone would want to see. If you want to see it, you're going to watch what you want to watch and skip what you want to skip. Plain and simple. But I need to enjoy, at least on some level, I need to enjoy what I'm filming. This is a hobby. This is not a job for me. So I need to enjoy. I'm not big enough to even do, as far as like subscriber base, to do paid promotional videos or anything like that. And so that would be a little different if I like the product. But then it's like, okay, now that's a portion that needs to be done because I'm contracting and agreeing to that, but that's not going to happen probably for a long, long time, if ever. So there's that. So I just want to enjoy what I film and put out. I have been putting more and more pressure on myself to try and have videos be a certain quality, trying to force myself to learn how to edit more. And you know what? I don't like editing. I really don't. So, I mean, the most that I'll do with editing, at least right now, is insert a picture or a thumbnail, like right here, of a book I might be talking about. And if I have a section of the video that I'm just not talking and I'm trying to research something, or there's weird noises or something's going on, to edit that particular portion out. But none of this fancy schmancy stuff that you see a lot of booktubers and YouTubers in general do with the special effects and everything. That's just, I'm not interested in it. So I'm not going to put that pressure on myself. It's taken not doing this for me to kind of realize that. And I had a thought and it just went. So let's go ahead and end this video. So I'm not doing a TBR game for this month because we are already on the, what's today when filming this? This 5th? Yes, the 5th of December. So we're almost a full week into December. Now I have some books that I've been reading for since October. Like I started them in October and they're still not finished. So my goal is to get these books done by the end of December. And I have some books checked out from the library that I want to read. I still am able to renew them up to 2 more times. So if they don't get done in December, I really do not want to roll them into January or later. So let's talk about what I want to finish for the month of December that I'm currently reading. On my phone, I am listening to an audiobook, and this is like a 48-hour audiobook. There's a Paint by Numbers app on my phone that I like to do when I am listening to the audiobook. In the past, I would do one picture and then I would just be done listening to the audiobook for a while, for the day, whatever the case may be. Rather than listening to the full chapter and just color, and I would definitely get done with the book a lot faster. So it's a book about Washington. It is a nonfiction book. I'm on, I believe, chapter, is it somewhere between 44 and 46. And there's like, I think 66 chapters left. So I'm in the mid 40s. So definitely doable. I just have to listen to it. There are points that I did find kind of snoozeworthy and boring. This is by Ron, I want to say Chernow, or I don't know. Anyway, I'll put an image of the book. There are interesting points with how Washington joined the army, his thoughts on it, his thoughts on slavery, his thoughts on being president and certain people and things like that. So it has had its interesting moments. He did not have a good relationship with his mother, and it seems like it got more sour as time went on, at least up to this point in the book. His mother does not seem like a nice person. So, it's just about George Washington's life. As far as the slavery goes, he had a lot of slaves, but I'm not quite sure fully what his stance was on that, because it seems like he was very against slavery, but he had slaves because he felt like he had to, so that he wouldn't be ridiculed and be treated poorly for not having slaves during the time of his existence. So it's like I'm kind of torn with what he really thought. There are sections where it does go into more depth on that, and then sometimes it's just kind of glossed over. One thing with the slaves, it did say that he didn't like to punish his slaves, but he did if he felt like he had to and had no other choice, to set an example. The other thing it does talk about too is that with slaves, he did not want to split families. So if there was a group of people where you had a husband and wife and children, he would buy whatever they did back then. Anyway, he would obtain the whole family unit, so to speak. He did not want to split up the family unit. And that's one thing that is said very clearly in the book. So, yeah. So there is a lot of talk on that. But there have been interesting points, how he has strategized things, how people have tried to take advantage of him in war, and yeah. So anyway, so that's interesting, but I am looking forward to being done with the book. So that's the audiobook. Okay. Now, the other one so my mom and I will have started, to close out the day. There's a lot of crap in the world. There's fighting, there's contention, there's all this ism and phobias, and, whatever your stance is on anything. There's a lot of negativity in the world. And there's a lot of crap going on in the world. And so to try and, after dealing with some of the crap throughout the world and reading about it and listening about it and all that stuff, we've come up with something. We're going to read at least 1 or 2 chapters out of a book a night. And then we also say some things that we're grateful for that happened during the day. So we end on a positive note for the day. And not all this turmoil and stuff. And so we kind of think of what we're grateful for. The fact that maybe you got a raise, that maybe they did a bunch of layoffs, but you kept your job, something like that. And it could be something as simple as, hey, the bag on my groceries ripped, taking them out to the car, but that sucked, but someone stopped to help me. That's something to be grateful for, that someone helped you. I don't know. So we just try to end on a positive note. But the book that we are currently reading for the month of December is Miracle on 34th Street by Valentine Davies. I know there's at least 2 movie variations or movie adaptations of this book. My favorite is the newer one. And when I say new, I'm talking about the girl that is closer to my age now as an adult, where she played the child in the movie. So maybe she's 10 years younger. I don't know. Anyway, I don't remember the name of the characters, but the reason why I like that version is I love the guy that plays Kris Kringle in the movie. I think he does just a fabulous job, and so that's my favorite adaptation. But I can't really tell you more about it because I don't have the movie around me. So anyway, Miracle on 34th Street. The mother works for Macy's and teaches her daughter that there is no such thing as Santa Claus. And the daughter, I think she's 8 in the book, if I'm remembering correctly. They live in an apartment and they have this neighbor who thinks that's not good to teach your child that. And so we are literally only on chapter 4 or 5 now. Oh, chapter 6. So we've already had the thing with the Macy's Day Parade. And now the new Santa with Macy's. So not very far in. But yeah, there are definitely some differences. But the movie is pretty close to this. Now, granted, this is a very short story. It is just over 100 pages. So there is definitely, 120 pages. So there's definitely a lot that can be put into a film, but also they're going to have their creative license and change whatever. So we will finish this this month. Okay, now. So what the other 2 books that I started, one is for my ebook. I am reading Authority is the name of the book by Jeff VanderMeer. It's the second in the Southern Reach trilogy series, and the first book, it was very confusing, but yet I was intrigued at the same time. Things are real, yet they're fake. It's like you have this creature, but no, that creature's not really there. You have this thing that's a tower, but yet it's a tunnel. So things are what they are, but they're not what they seem. It was very weird. Anyway, so I'm reading Authority, which is the second book in the series, and we're following this guy. And that's the thing with the first one, they get rid of their... they basically get rid of their names. You have they're referred to as the biologist, the linguist, the whateverist they are. And in this one, it pretty much follows the same thing. You have this guy, I can't remember what his name is right off because I'm only 3 chapters in. But he has to report back to the Voice, and he is interviewing the people that go to Area X, where things are not what they seem, yet they are what they seem. And basically he's interviewing them. It's his first time interviewing them, and they're back from Area X. I don't really know what it's about yet. So, I mean, and that's the best way that I can describe the first book in the series, which was it Annihilation? Anyway, I'll put the first book up here, but it was weird. You've got these scientists, a biologist, a linguist, a psychologist, and they all go into this Area X area. And like I said, things are real, yet they're not real. They are what they seem, yet they're not what they seem. It's very bizarre, very confusing, but yet I was very intrigued. So I am continuing with the series. So I would love to finish the second book this month. Now, the physical book I am working on still is War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. It's very dense. The only thing I can really say is that it's about war and moments of peace. And that's really it. It takes place in Russia. You have Russians, Germans, French, Polish. And so there are some hard names in here. I did try to find an audiobook, but I could not find an audiobook that matched this version of this book. This particular version that I have is just over 1,300 pages. I started the month of December I have this one tab right here, just to mark, I was just curious. On page 448, 5 days into December, I'm on 470. So I'm making extremely slow progress. This is probably going to take me, I would love to finish this and just be done with it. I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying the writing. I'm finding it not quite lyrical, but I am enjoying the writing. But again, it's hard to say. You have Andrew Pulaski, you have a Mick Leona, Speransky, Napoleon. What are some other names that are in here? You have this one guy that was atheist and now he has converted to a religion. Petersburg is mentioned. Pierre, and Petersburg obviously is the place that I'm talking about. Some guy named Boris, Rostov. Yeah, so there's a lot of people, a lot happening. But when I start to read it, I am able to remember and recall what has been happening. But to turn around and explain what the book is about is very difficult for me. It's about war and moments of peace so far. I don't think I'll finish this month. I would love to, but I have just under 1,000 pages left to read. So, like, still 800, 900 pages at least. So, it'll be a process. Okay. So that was the two physical books, the one I'm reading with. Okay. Now, the other books I have checked out from the library. So I have an app for the library system on my phone. It's called the Salt Lake County Library System. And they have an app. So I have that on my phone, and when I went on, sometimes they recommend books. So I have 4 books checked out, 3 of which the app recommended. 1 I heard from someone else because I read 1984 by George Orwell, and someone said, well, if you like that, you should try, and we'll get to that book. But let's go ahead and tell you what that book is. That book is Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, dystopian, and that's really all I know. It's like these people are forced by the government to live a certain way. And one guy described this as being more disturbing than 1984 because people are actually compliant and want to go along with it. In 1984, you do have kind of like these handful of people that are rebellious and want to overthrow that system, but yet people are complacent that they just go along with it in this book. So I do want to get to this hopefully soon. I think I'll fly through this because I do love the dystopian stuff, and I absolutely loved 1984, so I have high hopes for this. So hopefully soon. Okay. The 3 books that were recommended by the library app, I don't know anything about. 1 I have heard of. It has been mentioned on BookTube. And I thought, let's give it a try. So that book, the one that I have heard of, is The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. I do like romance. I do not like the steaminess. I have heard that Christina Lauren can get steamy, but here's my problem. You hear someone say it's steamy, but that is relative. Someone will not... Steamy doesn't necessarily equate to sexually explicit. Now it can. And so it's the level of explicitness that can bother me. I will not read something that's categorized as erotica. I am not interested in that at all. That is way too explicit for me. Like, if I was going to rate an erotic novel, that would be an R leaning into like a triple X or an R into an X movie. I think X is a rating. I know triple X is because that's porn. But definitely an R and a hard R at that. Steaminess, I started thinking about it as like kind of like a movie rating. And I thought, well, you have G where there's nothing in that. PG where there's maybe some innuendo and hints. PG-13 where it'd be more of a fade to black type of a thing, and some naughty thoughts, but nothing overly sexually explicit like an R movie, like if you're going to go to the movies. So, and I do like the romance. I know there are romances where they are not sexually explicit. So I thought, I'm going to give Christina Lauren a try, see what I think. This is The Soulmate Equation. I do not know what it's about. I just thought, let me check it out from the library, see if I like it, see if I like this author's writing, if the steaminess is something that I find okay, if I'm okay to deal with it, or if I know not to pick up this author again. So that's why I've got that one. Okay. Now, the other 2 books, this first one, I was on my senior year of high school. I was on the yearbook staff. And so in high school, on the yearbook staff, you have the person most likely, or the couple most likely, the girl most likely, male most likely, etc. Well, this kind of takes a twist on that, and it's the girl least likely. So, because it made me think of yearbook, and then it's like it's like you're looking at a yearbook page. So, which I did not like being on yearbook staff, but I thought, let's see kind of their take on the twisting it from most likely to least likely. So that's why I picked that one up. Don't know. I don't know anything about any of these books from the library, but I was intrigued for some reason. This one because of the memory and that it made me think of being on yearbook. So want to try that. Okay. Oh, and this is by Katy Loutzenhiser, something like that. Okay. And the third book, and this is the last book that I will mention that I absolutely want to read this month. The cover intrigued me. It made me go, what the heck is this about? And the title too. So I didn't read into it. I'm sorry, I don't know what these are about. I will list the title of these books and the author in the description box, so that if you want to know what these are about, you could definitely look up the book on whatever platform you use. The Push. This is by Ashley Audrain. But it's like it's a butterfly, but yet it's people, and it's like an ink blot type thing. So that made me go, ooh, okay, that looks interesting. This does have a GMA book club pick. So, Good Morning America book club, whatever. So, and I think this one was a reader's choice. No, not a reader's choice. This just says it's a newer book. So, anyway, I just thought, I was intrigued by the cover. I thought, that looks really interesting. Let me see what that's about. So, yeah, so those are the books that I want to complete for the month of December. We're already 5 days in. And so I don't know how much reading I can read while I work. I just have to be aware enough of things as far as when credit applications are coming in or emails, and obviously answering the phone whenever it rings. So if it's a downtime and there's nothing coming in, I can read. But it's the Christmas season and it's going to get busy, and which means the time for reading I pretty much count as non-existent during work hours. I am very lucky that when it's slow I can, and I do recognize that. But so those are the books that I want to hopefully get done by the end of December. That's why I'm not doing a TBR game this month, because I already have these books that I checked out at the very end of November, or started reading in like October, and just want to get them done. So those are my focuses for this month. Hopefully I will get them done. I have very low hopes of getting War and Peace done this month, but I'll get as far as I can. But that's going to be it for this video. So what are you most excited to read for the month of December? Definitely let me know in the comments below. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book. And I will talk to you later.